rollercoaster still going strongly in the closing minutes. Great one by Kevin McAllister! What a goal that is!
Delivery's good, there's Hagen. Now McGrillen, he scored!
It's Stokes on a hat-trick! Goal number 3 for Anthony Stokes!
Ralston saw off Robertson and delivered! Sybil scores! That's the goal! That's the moment! Samuel off and running again. Is it going to be the hat-trick? You know it is.
This is Falkirk Daft.
Welcome to Falkirk Daft. It's your unofficial podcast dedicated to everything to do with the mighty Bairns of Falkirk. We are recording on a Sunday, so a little bit hungover and still hurting after yesterday's result. The pain is still there and it could be a rough one today. Ross, you were at the game. How are you feeling?
A wee bit pissed off, to be honest with you, mate. It could have been, it should have been easy street yesterday, especially after the start we made, and it all just went to cock. So pretty disappointed. It's 2 points.
I missed it, but I was raging on just seeing the result coming in. So I'm looking forward to getting into the game and getting your analysis of it. And the guests company of our pundit Lewis as well is coming on. Slightly different if you're watching the YouTube version or even if you're actually listening to it. I am in the Radio Clyde studios today, so it's great. I've got all the buttons in front of me, so I'm saying crystal clear like a proper DJ, and I've got my headphones on. But the great thing about doing it is I've got access to all the music and all the sound effects and everything, Ross. So, we can have some fun with comedy drum roll. We've got if we're doing a big announcement, you can use like the timpani drums here. If you make a joke, Ross, I can hit you with a wee bit of canned laughter there.
There we go. Well, you might need that.
There we go. Some of the defending yesterday, we can hit that.
And, John, and as you said about a big announcement, we might have one today.
Ooh.
We might have one.
Yes, we do. Do we? Yeah. I don't know what Ross is talking about, but we'll get to that, I'm sure, later on. Fantastic. I'm going to have so much fun with this today. Right, listen, a couple of things to get out of the way before we get into the show. Remember my car boot situation last week where I parked at the stadium and then a car boot sale grew around my car and I had to drive over the grass and got in terrible trouble with the car boot stewards. But Gavin said he had a similar situation with the car boot sale last season after leaving the car when he went to hospitality and he got told I couldn't leave as it was against the law. I'm glad I didn't. It's against the law, so you can't move your car.
What sort of Jobsworth says leaving your car in granted it's a private car park, right? However, it's at your own risk, as their signs probably say. So, that's just a Jobsworth, isn't it? It really is.
So Gavin had the same. I'm glad I wasn't the only other idiot that's done that. So thank you, Gavin, for making me feel a hell of a lot better. Ross, we were talking about the scorers last week. Remember the first to score in the stadium? We had a total mind blank, right? Falkirk Optimist got in touch, said, I can't remember who scored for Dundee, but we got beat 2-1. And it was Big Mark Campbell that scored for us. So first Falkirk to score game in the stadium was Mark Campbell. However, the first scorer in the Falkirk Stadium, Adam's come in with this one. John Sutton for Dundee.
Right. Okay.
I think. I don't know if he got 2 that day. I think he did it.
Farcical playing Dundee, wasn't it, that day? Like, it was really farcical because Dundee had not voted against us going up like the season before or something like that.
It's a strange one for the opening game at the stadium. Obviously, had the kind of the glamour tie was the Ajax game, right? But again, you think you're opening the stadium, you get Dunfermline or you get someone bigger.
Yeah, they packaged it as some sort of like. Was it Alec Parker Cup or something like that, or the George Mill or something? They made it into like some special game, and in reality, everybody was just annoyed that we were playing Dundee because Dundee had given us the 2 fingers the summer before. SPL vote. So no, that was a bit of a farce. But yeah, no, that's fair shout out from the Optimist and Adam for getting in touch. Definitely.
Yeah. Bairns Abroad, Ian says, thanks guys, loving the show. Please keep it going. Sun in Auckland, New Zealand is a big fan. So that's another one to add to the map, Auckland, New Zealand. So shout out to Ian there. Big news, Ross, big news. It's coming near Christmas. I wonder if I've got Christmas music. Hold on. I bet you I can get some nice Christmas music here, right? So we can do this bit and it'll sound really, really good. This is what it's going to sound. This is why I'm a radio producer, Ross. I can just pull these things out the bag at any given moment. And it is, of course, getting near Christmas. See what I did there?
Very smooth.
Fantastic. Yeah. This is why I'm a radio producer, Ross. This is why I'm a radio producer. So it's getting near Christmas, right? I'm wearing a Christmas jumper today. I'm working at the Glasgow Christmas light switch on later on. But we thought it's that time of the year for giving, Ross, right? And we at Falkirk Daft thought, we want to give to your lot this year. So we've got a whole bunch of Falkirk Daft merchandise ready to go now.
There we go. That's a big announcement. That's exciting stuff.
I know. So basically, if you go to shop.spreadshirt.co.uk, Falkirk/Daft, you will find a whole range of Falkirk Daft memorabilia. Like we've got hoodies, we've got t-shirts, we've got tammies, got all sorts of things going up there. Phone covers, the full shebang, right? So you can buy for your loved ones this Christmas, Falkirk Daft stuff, right? And the good thing is all the profits from anything we make is going back into the club one way or the other. So anything we make on the merch, we're going to stick back into the club. But you can look cool at the games now with your Falkirk Daft hoodie or your Falkirk Daft tammy or your t-shirt, whatever, and promote the podcast as well, Ross. See?
There we go. It's a win-win, isn't it?
Exactly. So we've got the Falkirk Daft logo, and we've also got we're going to put the Highlander logo that we have as well, which is the Highlander with the jester hat drinking a beer. So you can get that all at shop.spreadshirt.co.uk/Falkirk-Daft, right? And I'll put the links on the link in the podcast and on the YouTube version as well. So you can click on that and buy your loved one a nice bit of Falkirk Daft memorabilia for Christmas. You see, you've got some Christmas music coming in. I better stop that now because it'll probably demonetise our YouTube and get us taken down. Right, Falkirk news. The club have started a new thing where they send out a newsletter, which is great for us because we can just rip that off and give you all your Falkirk news, which is brilliant. So yeah, it's quite a good idea, and it's a good initiative from the club, Ross, to do this kind of thing.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, they've obviously got thousands and thousands of people on their mailing list. I believe it includes anyone who's ever bought a ticket.
Yeah, I did see an angry message from a Dunfermline supporter just going blocked or unsubscribed. What is this doing in my inbox?
And you know what? See if it ruins his day, even for 5 minutes. It's worth it, isn't it? So
exactly. So
I think it's a good idea. It keeps not everybody. As obviously not all the fans are kind of keeping an eye on Twitter or Facebook or even the website. So whereas email's pretty fair, obviously it's as popular as anything else. So great to see, and the links are all embedded as well. So a couple of clicks and you could be buying a ticket or something for the shop or whatever the case may be. So really good.
Yeah, no, good work there. So the first thing that kind of kicks off this week is that they decide to reduce ticket prices for the game against Queen of the South to try and get as many supporters, because we know what it's like at that time of the year when everyone's so busy. The gates generally kind of drop off because everyone's doing stuff with the family and all that. So that's a great shout from Falkirk to that. It's going to be £5 for concessions, £10 for adults, and of course under 12s go free at the Falkirk Stadium as well. So good initiative from the club. Hopefully gets people into what will probably be an important game against Queen of the South. Brilliant result from there for them yesterday, so they might be turning the corner a wee bit,
Every game seems to be big just now, John, and that one's no different. It's a big time of year as well. As you said, pre-Christmas crowds can dip, whereas post-Christmas they're obviously really, really big because everyone's off work, and well, most people are off work. But no, I think that's a good idea. And you can also, what is it, they said you can sort of buy a ticket for someone who may not be otherwise able to afford it as well, so you can donate money to a ticket in the Falkirk Foundation with the club. I'll match it. So even if 100 extra tickets could be bought for that sort of that initiative, the club will match that as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that came through that newsletter, they're on the lookout for Falkirk Sports who are willing to help other less able parents to attend games. This is a really nice. This is Kenny, Big Kenny, who's reading this as the new Disability Access Officer. He's basically saying, through the partnership with Strathcarn Hospice, they identified some individuals who wish to attend games but are struggling for one reason or the other. So looking out for supporters that will come and help and be a buddy to a bairn. I like that. Buddy to a bairn. So great little initiative as well. And if you want to get involved in that, DAO, that's obviously Disability Access Offer, DAO at falkirkfc.co.uk. Get in touch with Kenny if you can do that. You don't think, helping people along to the ground, it's a great thing to do. And again, another good initiative from the Club, Ross.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's we should be doing absolutely everything we can, and I think we are starting to do that, to try and get every single person of every single age group or background along to the games. You've seen it in the crowds. The numbers have been really, really great this season so far. Long may it continue, but anything that we can do to make it easier for people to get along. And it's great to be linking up with Strathcarn again, who, as we know, support so many families in this area, and Falkirk fans as well, even non-Falkirk fans, but they do a brilliant job.
I know, I think everyone has an experience of Strathcarn one way or the other, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it's good. And obviously the big raffle's still ongoing to raise money for Strathcarn as well. So make sure you get a ticket for that. Another thing that kind of cropped up, I guess we'll give this a plug as well. I love this, the Navy Blue Friday sale, which I quite liked. I like that idea. So they're giving 25% off home player and away player sponsorship. So you can sponsorship with 25% off. And they've got a 25% off match sponsorship package for the game against Dundee on Thursday the 8th of December, if you're interested in any of that.
That's a really good deal, and hopefully a local company or a local group may take that one up. And you've got to bear in mind it is on the TV too, so your company logo will be on the the LED advertising boards that they have at these games as well. So that would be kind of cool. It's probably still a bit too much of a stretch for Falkirk Daft, because that would be exactly. Or just a simple message. We could have like steak or chicken.
See, if we're able to afford sponsorship, that's the kind of thing I'd put up on the LED. Steak or chicken with little emojis of a steak and a chicken. Brilliant.
I don't know how personalised you could do, but if, like, say Morrison or Nesbitt, probably Nesbitt, misses like he did yesterday multiple times, you could just have like this wee emoji with a face palm coming up on the LED advertising.
Aye, no, absolutely up for that. If once we can afford that, we'll definitely do that.
Nesbitt, I know we're going to talk about the game, but did you hear in the highlights? I think it might have been, I don't know if it was Lewis or Stuart, when Nesbitt had like some cross shot that went nowhere. He went, "What was he doing there?"
I don't hear that. Aye, Stuart, what's he doing there?
That is the question, Stuart. That is the question.
That is a very good question. Talking of the game, we might as well get stuck in about it. But every week on Falkirk Daft, we get a guest pundit on and this guy is an absolute hero. He ran from the Falkirk Stadium to the game yesterday. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the win, but he absolute hero. So please welcome to Falkirk Daft. It's Lewis Pentecost.
Right, guys, how are you doing?
You right?
I'm good. How are you?
How are the legs, Lewis?
They're actually surprisingly all right. I don't know why and I don't know how, but when I woke up this morning, I felt fine.
Good.
Yeah, I made great achievement. I mean, what time did you set off to get to the game on Saturday?
I think I set off at 9:15, and then I got there at around about 12:30, just before 12:30.
What kind of pace were you doing?
Well, for like literally until the last 2 miles, I was running 25 minutes for every single 5k.
Brilliant.
That is crazy. And you did that. And what was the total distance then?
Well, when I mapped it, I thought it was 28 miles, but it just on my GPS on my watch, it actually just came to just under 27.
Right.
So,
right. Wow. And what was the chat? It was Anthony No One Trust you did it for, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Any specific reason you did it for that charity?
Well, I think it's just kind of charity that kind of goes under the radar a wee bit. And obviously it saves lives by getting people on a stem cell register and obviously getting matches and stuff like that. So it's a charity that needs money, and I thought I'd just do it for that kind of charity, because I've done charity stuff in the past. So 2 years ago, I done a half marathon around my house.
A half marathon around your house?
Aye, I done a half marathon around my house for Strathcarron, and then a year before that, I done a marathon on a treadmill.
Oh, superb!
Wow,
amazing. How much have you done so far, Lewis, for this one?
I think it's at £1,400 so far, but I set a target of £500, so I'm really happy with that.
That's amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we still sponsor you, Lewis, if people are listening and want
yeah.
money?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
There's a GoFundMe page on my Twitter. There's one on Facebook. So just go into one of them and donate what you can.
Yeah, we'll share that again, Lewis. I know we've read that a couple of times, but we'll add that to the episode links this week.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So you ran all that way, Lewis, from Falkirk Stadium to Clyde, and we only got a 3-3 draw. Let's talk about the game, boys. We put it off long enough. It's a hard one to come back from, isn't it? It's a draw away, and ordinarily you're like, okay, right, we can take a draw away to Clyde, because Clyde have been horrendously a bogey team for us over the last couple of seasons. But as we've said in previous episodes, we can't afford that. We cannot afford that. And that's another 2 big points dropped in the league. Dunfermline won yesterday up away to Peterhead. It's just hard to take. Ross, talk us through the game. Obviously, big change came. Cole Donaldson, we'd heard there was a player out ill. Cole Donaldson only can make the bench, so was presuming that it was him that was ill. That was a change, which meant the PE teacher came back in at right back. Brad Mackay moved into centre half, but apart from that, unchanged from last week. Ross, you were there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I think obviously John McGlynn had mentioned that there was an illness on the Friday, I think it was, and it's a shame it was Big Cole, because he's been so consistent, and I know Lewis was there yesterday as well. We really, really missed him. We massively missed him.
Yeah.
The centre half pairing was just awful yesterday. Combination of Brad Mackay being Brad Mackay and Liam Henderson having another game where he had 2 or 3 mistakes in him, which is just not going to be good enough.
Yep.
Lewis, you were there as well. Were you surprised that, obviously with Cole going out, do you think it would have been better to keep Mackay at the right back and maybe move Mackie in there rather than bring Williamson straight back in?
To be fair to Williamson, I don't think he done very much wrong, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think Ross was right. It was the centre-half pairing that was the kind of mistakes, especially Henderson. I'd actually like to see Mackie play at centre-half yesterday alongside Brad Mackay. But I think that the rest of the team done okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cal Morrison actually had one of his better games in a while. And I think Allegria was an instant impact when he came on as well.
Yeah, I like to look at Allegria when he came on. He was hungry and he could have won us.
Yeah,
the game as well.
Definitely.
We were talking about that last week. Obviously, it's almost like picking and choosing between what centre forward you start with, whether it was Burrow or Johnny Joy. But we did say last week it's probably a game for Burrow because of their centre halves aren't exactly the paciest. But it looked to me from the highlights that Allegria did make a big difference when he came on.
It was weird yesterday, Lewis, wasn't it? Because Burrow, he didn't. I think there was a couple of chances early doors and he didn't take them.
He had one about 3 or 4 yards out.
And it just completely. I think he just lost complete confidence because every time he touched the ball or went to touch the ball, it just didn't go well for him. At all.
I think, you're totally right. I think Burrow didn't have that good a game yesterday. But to be fair, he didn't get many chances. But when he did get any chances, he didn't really do very much with the ball, to be honest.
No.
Because we came, it looked to me like we came flying out the box in that first 10, 15 minutes. There was a big chance, Gary Oliver, great work on the left, get the ball over to the back post where Burrow was, and I guess that's one of the chances you're talking about. He just was a bit short getting onto it. But it did look in that first 10, 15 minutes, Ross, and certainly looking at the updates coming through your Twitter, it looked like we were flying out the blocks again.
We could have been three goals up within the first 15, 20 minutes, and deservedly so, because they couldn't handle us. They were really open. They set up quite open as well. You could see Jim Duffy, because I was sitting quite near the dugouts, and you could see Jim Duffy. Obviously, he's not got much hair to pull out, but he was kind of pulling his hair out of what was going on. And then we score, and it's an absolute belter from Callum.
What a goal from
Absolute peach. And He just caught it perfectly. And you thought, right, here we go. This is going to be a good day. And then for whatever reason, the next 22, 23 minutes, we just absolutely lost the plot. We won no 50-50s. We were nowhere across the park. We kept giving the ball away. We didn't really create. I can't think we created anything after that either. And Clyde just, they were snapping at us. Like Gomez was like Messi all day.
He was playing high up the field and he was just playing amazing.
He did, didn't he? It was weird to see. Like, you're right, Lewis. He was playing like just behind the boy who scored their goals, the couple of goals, and he was awesome. Or was he awesome, or were we just really poor? I don't know. It's a bit of both.
No, I think he did really have a good game yesterday. To be fair, I thought
the next player raising their game against us, is it?
Yeah. Well, I thought Stephen Cunningham went off injured, and then Morrison scored not long after.
Yeah.
Kind of thought this was going to be our day, but then Clyde do what Clyde do against us, and they end up scoring.
Yeah, they did.
I know it. So yeah, they went 1-1. The goal, the first goal for Clyde. Nicky maybe could have got. Didn't clear our lines. Looked like the big thing for the first one.
Defensive errors really across the shop. I think. We had 2 or 3 chances to clear it. I think, Lewis, didn't we? And then the keeper might have been a bit blindsided for that one, I suppose, because there was a hell of a lot of people in the box. For me, I was pretty annoyed at Mackay at the time because he was the sort of last person to impact the goal being scored, because he had sort of 2 half chances to clear it and didn't. And then they scored, and it was a good finish by the boy. But defensive, I don't know if the keeper could have done any better with the first one. I don't
think you could put any blame on Nicky. They had plenty of chances to clear it and they never done it. And it was a good finish.
Yeah. And then go on to get the second goal. Again, second goal for me looked. I don't know where the midfield was for that second goal. Just they lost it in midfield. The midfield didn't kind of backtrack. Guy just basically wandered through and scores the goal, and it looked didn't look great.
No, it was really, really poor, and you could see it was coming, if I'm being honest as well. Like they had a lot of the ball, they were nipping at our feet. Any 50-50 they were winning. They were closing us down. They were just doing what Clyde generally do against us.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's not how the first game this season went, but every other Clyde game the last few years, that was kind of how it went. And if I'm being honest, Jim Duffy, he's obviously getting an extra bit of 25% out of these guys, because he's now got a draw against Dunfermline last week, and he's got a draw at home against us as well.
Yeah.
Again, we get back in the game, and you're thinking, right, 2-2, push on from that. Gary Oliver, God knows why he was credited with that goal.
There's absolutely no chance he's getting that goal. Not an absolute chance.
Yeah, well, it was on target. It was on target, but
it was a comical own goal.
What is the boy doing? And on the line, what is he doing?
There was no pace in the ball or anything.
No, I know. It was like it was moving through jelly. It was weird.
But and then so we get the goal, and then you think, right, okay, now is the time to push on. But what happened at that point, Ross?
Yeah, we didn't then look like going on and sort of being the next team to score, to be honest. We faffed about it again. Midfielder's a problem all day. Defensively, I might add. No, maybe not so much offensively, but defensively, midfielder's a problem. I think we let somebody like Lawal down. He's now had 3 goals and sort of 3 not starts, because he's only started 2 games, but he's played 3 good games and he's scored in everyone. So we need to give this guy a bit of time and space, and we're not doing that, because we've not got somebody in there who's probably going to help protect him, because for all intents and purposes, his defensive work's probably not as good as his offensive work.
I was going to get around to that, because obviously the third goal comes as well, and again, it's going back to the midfield and what you're saying, defensive work from the midfield, Ross. It just again seemed to be that's where the goal came from. Do you think, with playing Lawal, as a good a player he is, do you think that's what we're missing, that defensive cover? So if you play Lawal, do you need to drop a Nesbitt and put in someone like Hetherington or Yates into that midfield to give him the protection and give the defence the protection? especially away from home, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know about Lewis, but for me, it was Gary Oliver, and I know he scored yesterday, but for me, that was his only real contribution of the game.
Yeah, didn't really do very much.
No.
Slowed the ball down too much, to be honest, in the final third.
He needs to come out. If we're going to play Lowell, he needs to come out, and we need an actual...
Put Hetherington or Yeats
in. Hetherington in, yeah.
Or Yeats, probably, yeah. It depends on the opposition, I suppose, but Yeats did well when he came on as well yesterday. That wasn't in the midfield slot, but he did well when he came on. But we can't play Gary Oliver and Lowell in the same midfield.
No.
I think they were just getting too much time in the final third. Like, we were giving them so much time and standing off them in the final third. I don't get it. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
But you've got to play Lowell, like you say, Ross. That's 2 starts, 2 goals from him. Great. I mean, pulls us back into the match with the 3-3. Great finish from him. Picked out the top bin, stroked it in there, and he offers, like we said last week against Edinburgh, he just offers something completely different that we don't have in the squad.
No, he definitely does. He's excited. Yeah. He's got really good feet for such a tall guy, and he was full of the tricks yesterday again, wasn't he, Lewis?
Definitely.
You weren't sure. Is he consistent? No, he's not. But it's a
great finish.
Oh, the finish was outstanding, and
he
just, and you saw his reaction after he scored. Like, and Grant, it was obviously at a moment where we knew we wanted to go on and try and get the 3 points, and he's racing back to the halfway line. He kind of with us and move on. So you can tell there's a good energy and there's a good buzz about him as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We had a big chance when it goes 3-3. Morrison goes through. Went for the chip. It's just, it could have been, if we'd come away 4-3 winners, would we have been worth it, or do you think the draw was a fair result?
I think a draw was a fair result if you look back at it, to be honest. I think Clyde had their chances as well to score more goals. So
they did.
Yeah,
they did.
I think all in all, it's probably a fair result, but not the result we need at this stage in the league.
No, absolutely not. I said a couple of weeks ago, if we can't drop any more points, I was a bit more confident last week. Ross, where are we sitting now in terms of winning this league? What is your opinion now?
My thought process is, on current form, we're not going to win the league because we're dropping too many points. And with the greatest respects to Clyde, and they were lovely yesterday. Honestly, that they look like they're thriving through it. I know their crowd wasn't great. It probably wasn't any more than it would have been at Broadwood, but from the people I spoke to yesterday, they're absolutely loving it through there. Hamilton make a bit of a big deal about them. They put up their posters and pictures and stuff in all the football and in the hospitality areas. So for all intents and purposes, it's Clyde's place. It would be massively disrespectful to say we should have quite easily done that yesterday, and they did deserve their point, but we should be going to the second bottom team and picking up 3 points if we do indeed want to win the league, which is obviously what everybody wants. But on current form, it's not going to happen. We need to be far, far tighter.
Well, I mean, there you go. Looking at the league, 7 points behind Dunfermline. I mean, it's it's hard. It's going to be a tough slog. I mean, the good thing is we've got 2 games to play against them. And obviously results kind of went. Montrose getting beat yesterday. Amazing. By the way, what a comeback from Edinburgh for being...
I know. I see that.
I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that. It would have been all right if that, if Alloa had beat them as well. But it's just so tight, that league now. And you look at it, and from 6 up to second, there's 3 points. From Airdrie to us. It's just crazy. And you know what? There's no guarantee we're getting the playoffs at this point just because there's no gap there. I mean, you would hope, but there needs to, and I don't know where this inconsistency is coming. We just need to go on a run of win. We've not been able to do that, string 5 or 6 wins together this season. And for a team Falkirk size in League One, I'm sorry to say it, we should be doing that, especially with the squad we've got, the fact we're a full-time team. We should be doing that. There's no excuses for not doing that,
I think we should be closer to Dunfermline. I think we should be. They've shown that they can grind out a draw out of defeat, and they've shown that they can get a win out of a draw. So we've just not done that yet. And there is a long way to go. I know there's stuff that, and I know you were saying it 2 weeks ago, George, but like the league's done and stuff. I don't like the league's done.
No, it's definitely not done. It's definitely not done.
But
Look at you two optimists. I like it.
Well, listen, John,
Dunfermline are nothing special.
No, they're right.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
They're not at all.
They just grind it out. They just grind the wins out the draws. They come back from being goals down, and we haven't shown that yet. If we went on yesterday and, like I say, that big chance from Morrison and won 4-3 and ground out that game without playing brilliantly, it'd have been totally different. Well, we see what Mr. McGlynn has to say.
John, 3-3 today, point in the bag, but does it feel like a one gained or a couple lost? What's your thoughts?
We didn't build on the lead we had. We should have really, we started fairly well, opportunities before we actually scored. Callum scores a really, really good goal. He takes it really well. It's come out, sat up for him, he's hit the volley, and it's a great goal. And for there, we should really kick on. In the moments early in the game, with the greatest respect to Clyde, they were open. We were creating chances galore. And I don't know if that psychologically got into the player's head, because after that, we didn't progress in the game. We somehow or other dropped off the game, not going deep, just by not being at the same level that we kind of started, even though I think the start, we could even have done better with the start that we made, but we were in a great situation to kick on. But then we somehow were makers of our own downfall with regards to not passing the ball, giving the ball away, allowing Clyde to get attacks, and giving them opportunities from free kicks, which obviously they got the equaliser from, in the wide area, a ball in, and I've not seen it back, but what I can remember is that the boy Thico, the centre back, he's got a better time at the edge of the box to pick his spot, and that's not good enough. We've got to come out, we've got to block that, you've got to put your body in the line, and we didn't, and we give them they've from a free kick got themselves back in the game. And we, for the end of half time, we didn't produce anything really. We were poor, really poor, which is disappointing and a little bit annoying and a little bit worrying how we didn't respond until half time, after the second half. So we lose a ball in midfield, we play a ball up into Gary, we lose possession, and they break on us, and the lad finishes it off, and you find yourself 2-1 down in a game where we should have had ourselves, if not out of sight, we should have had a comfortable lead in the game, and then we've given them all the encouragement that they need, and that's in that last half an hour or so the first half. I don't know the exact time when we scored, but from then on in, they looked the more likelier until half time, until we get the second goal back very early in the second half, loads of time to go, looking to kick on and win the game, obviously. So Gary gets a goal again, it's well worked, but then we find ourselves having to fight back again. I don't think Clyde had many chances in the second half, and from the one or the two they managed to score a goal. So 3-2 down, and we've got to fight back, and again we do. We didn't. It wasn't lack of effort, lack of commitment. We certainly put all the effort in. We put the commitment. We pushed all right to the end, but Ola scores a really good goal to get us back in 3-3. We again loads of time to go and kick on and win the game, and the goalkeeper's made a great save for Juan with 5 minutes to go. It's a brilliant save, an absolutely brilliant save. And as I say, we deliver crosses. We got in behind them, but we just couldn't get that real good final ball or get anyone in the end of things. So we didn't come for a draw. Unfortunately, we have to accept that that's what's happened, and take our medicine and move on.
So John McGlynn there, again, probably reflecting what we said about just kicking on and going and winning it. What did you make of what you had to say there, Ross?
Sounds exasperated at times, John, and he probably is, because he's like, I know it's not all his squad, and we've said that, and everybody's saying that it's not his full squad to pick from and stuff, but he sounds exasperated with it because they probably work all week on a particular style, in which we did for 15, 20 minutes, and it was working, and then for whatever reason, it doesn't sound like John knew at the time either, just something went wrong, and it all went to clock. The second half, he's right, we were a bit more in it, but then defensively we didn't help ourselves at all, and they had, as he said, like a couple of chances in the second half, and they scored from it. Juan came on, was a proper menace. He had 15, 20 minutes, and they had a couple of good chances, one of which the keeper's made an absolute brilliant save. I must admit, I thought he was tucking that one away, but yeah,
just a tight angle.
It was very tight, and it was. But Lewis, obviously, I know you were there as well. But if that had went in, like as much as we're saying Clyde deserve a draw, that would have been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
last minute,
McGuffey had a half chance as well, a header as well.
Oh, he did, didn't he? That came out of nowhere as well, because it was like a really poor cross in, and it was like a wee snapshot header. I know.
I mean, obviously we've got the Scottish Cup, and we'll get into that a wee bit later on. But you will see. I would suspect you'll see the likes of Hetherington, you'll see the likes of Wan start. Yeats will probably get back in. He'll probably make a couple of changes, I would suspect, in the cup.
I think he'll want a cup run there, John. I don't think he'll want to dick around with the team too much, but I think
but I mean,
there will be changes.
Yeah, Paddy Martin probably in the goals as well.
Yeah, I think you look at using Allegri against Wick. You look at using someone. If you, I guess Burrow drops out, Oliver drops out, it'd be the obvious two that would drop out. Maybe Henderson. A lot of criticism. We'll get into the view from the supporters in a minute, but a lot of criticism of Henderson and his efforts yesterday.
Yeah, it just seems like every game he plays in, he's always got a mistake in him. Every single game, and then yesterday it was about 2 or 3 really bad mistakes.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was really poor.
Let's get into the views from our fellow supporters. Drew kicks his offside. Very worried if that's what happens when Donaldson is out. Great in attack, shite at the back, although in fairness to the back four, they did constantly break through the midfield too easily. Good game, but definitely 2 points dropped.
100%.
Yeah, he's hit the nail on the head there.
He has. Wee Div says, I think if Johnny Joy started, we would have won that game. He definitely would have put away one of the early chances. Actually, I agree with him. Every time Lowell gets the ball, he looks like he can do something positive. A bit ropey defensively, but is worth the risk, in my opinion. Oliver is pish.
Gordon says front foot great, defensively couldn't keep hens out of close. Rabonzo the Clown says 8 wins out of 16 is horrendous in this league. It's only the sheer luck that Airdrie and Montrose have tanked that we're not 4th place at best. If it was McKinnon, Sheeran or any of the other Muppets, they would be getting pelters.
Yeah, that's true. They were shit.
Yeah, listen, 50% win rate's not brilliant in League One. How many defeats have we actually had now? So I've not actually looked, but what's the defeats? Is it 2 or 3?
4. We've got 4 now, haven't we? Kelty twice, Montrose and Dunfermline.
Right. Okay. So you're well, I suppose we're talking about 75% of games where we've got something out of it. It's probably good enough, as we're seeing. It's probably good enough for a playoff.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good enough to win the league.
Definitely not a chance.
Colin says the people on bench never get a game. Why are they there? Seb Ross never gets a game but is always on the bench. Nisbet and Morrison never dropped. Why? Every game is must win, so why take a striker off? I assume he's talking about Burrow, but Burrow was ranked rotten yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with that substitution. To be honest,
I would have took him off. I've heard it.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah. I was eating Nisbet yesterday. Cal Morrison looked like he had a good game. Obviously, probably one of the goals of the season scored by him. But how did the two of them and on Nisbet and Morrison steak chicken watch? How did they get on yesterday?
I don't think Nisbet had a good game at all. I think just about every corner he put in was shite.
He's sometimes, like we talked about earlier in the season, Ross, like his delivery sometimes is great, and then other times it's just goddamn awful, and you'd rather see someone else in the corners.
Distribution, apart from one pass in the first half, I think it was, his distribution was ranked rotten. He as Lewis said, he overhit almost every corner, or it didn't beat the first man. There was a free kick we got in the first half from memory that John McGlynn just absolutely lost his rag at, because he put it in the one place where we didn't have anyone likely to run into or attack. And so decision making again was just really, really poor.
Yeah, he had a couple of chances to open up the play with passes, but instead he'd cut back and go right back into the traffic. You're like, what are you doing?
Do you know, I know John McGlynn said this before. He's obviously he's a worker, right? So he's forever. I'll never ever criticise the fact that he looks for the ball, because he does. You can see him. He tries to put himself into a space to get the ball, right? The problem is we almost don't want to always give him the ball because we don't know what he's then going to do with it. So it's like he's like, remember the kids at school, and I might have been this at one point. You're in your head, you're a brilliant player, and you'll get pass marks every time for trying your best.
A for effort.
An A for effort, but it's just not going to be good enough. So
yeah. Right, so chicken day for Adrian Nesbitt then. Mackay and Henderson, this is from Gordon. Mackay and Henderson have shown us enough times the level of ability, particularly Mackay if we include last season. I appreciate Donaldson wasn't in the position to start today, but needs to be the centre-back pairing of Donaldson and Mackie for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Sam says, Clyde are full of confidence just now, new manager, etc., and took points from the top two now. It's not an excuse for how poor we were throughout the 90, though. Personally, I think that centre-back pairing of Mackay and Henderson is a recipe for disaster. Bring Donaldson and Mackie back in the two centre-backs.
Yeah, I mean, early on the season, Mackie did look good at centre half. I have to say, he did look really, really good, so I wouldn't be averse to that. Stuart says Donaldson's a massive miss. Weaknesses are all there to see without him. Would even bring in Harrington, sit in the middle with McGinn, try offer more protection and play Lawal ahead of them.
That's not bad, sure.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier on.
Yeah, me too. I would do that next week, especially up at Wick. If the pitch will be tight, well, I'm assuming the pitch will be tight. I don't know what the quality of the pitch will be like is better. So you probably need a few diggers. We'll probably need somebody like Lawal as well, though, to try and create space and create
something. Yeah,
but you'll also need McGinn to be on his A game. And I shouldn't be saying this about Wick because they're Highland League, but we've seen it before. How many times do teams go to these places and they struggle? So we just need to be on our A game. And do you know what? See, the fans will travel up there in the numbers, and they'll deserve a big performance. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that's what they get.
Yeah, it'll be a good weekend out.
Yeah. Falkirk Blues said if Donaldson gets a long-term injury, we're fucked. Is Lawal the best player of all time? There's an argument for yes, because he is. Argument for no, he wears his socks around his ankles.
But good shout, Falkirk Blues. And finally, let's wee Max has gotten points. Yes, a point wasn't what we hoped for, but we scored 3 good goals away from home, and we at least got a point out of the game. We will bounce back next week away to Wick Academy, Mon the Bairns, ending a bit of positivity for me, Max.
Enthusiasm of youth, John.
The enthusiasm of youth. We'll kick that out of him. We'll get that out of him, that's for sure. Right, okay. I can go back to my effects page now, Ross, because we're coming to the Falkirk Daft rated and the Falkirk Dafty. So for the Falkirk Daft rated, they'll get... right, and for a Falkirk Dafty, they'll get... Right, okay, so Falkirk Daft rated, boys, who are you going for?
Lewis, you up first, mate?
I'm going to go for McCann.
Leon McCann.
Yeah,
it's a shout.
Mr. Consistent.
He was very consistent yesterday again. Actually, do you know, just while you're picking a fullback out, I thought Williamson did well.
Yeah,
coming back into the game as well, but McCann, for the full 90 again, defensively and offensively, did really well. It's a good shout out. For me, on the basis that he had a pretty good 90 minutes and he scored a bit of a world day, I'm going to go Callum Morrison.
Yeah, that's a good shout as well. He had a good game.
All right,
great game.
Okay. So Callum Morrison is this week's Falkirk Daft rated player of the week.
John, Clyde are paying you far too much.
Right, okay. Right, Falkirk Dafty, who's it going to?
Yeah, well, there's only one answer for this. Liam Henderson.
Liam Henderson.
It has
Ross.
to be.
100%.
Liam Henderson, I'm afraid you're this week's Falkirk Dafty. Brilliant. I'm going to miss not doing it in the studio next week. Right, okay, that's it then. Onwards to the next game. We'll get into Wick in a bit. But Lewis, thank you so much for coming on. An amazing effort doing that run from Falkirk to Hamilton at the weekend. Unbelievable effort. You can sponsor Lewis, add to his total, hopefully make loads more money for the Anthony Owen Trust. So that link is in the links below on the podcast or on YouTube. So thanks for coming on, Lewis. Really enjoy your company, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Lewis.
Remember, if you want to be a pundit just like Lewis, dead easy, drop us a DM on Twitter, Facebook, or you can drop us an email, falkirkdaftpod@gmail.com.
This is Falkirk Daft.
Ross, we're recording this on a Sunday this week, and the World Cup kicks off today. The big game of Qatar versus Ecuador. You remember that Slash song?
We do.
So I can't say Ecuador without saying it that way. But we Scotland aren't there, obviously. So we thought we'd start our own World Cup, which isn't really a World Cup, and there's nothing to do with the world at all. But we're calling it the World Cup of Falkirk Strips.
Yes.
And last week we've been asking for your nominations. They've been coming in all week. We've got the best 16 Falkirk strips as nominated by you guys. Controversial, Ross. There's been some complaints that none of the Budweiser strips have been included in the draw.
Yeah, there was a few comments there, but listen, there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough there. We got literally, well, I was going to say hundreds, but it was real. We got literally dozens of messages.
At least dozens. We can describe it as least. And tens. We got tens and tens of nominations for your favourite Falkirk strip.
But yeah, we didn't get too many of those ones. I think we got maybe one or two people mentioned the Budweiser one. See, the thing is, see when you look at the Budweiser shirts, see if you took the Budweiser logo off, they don't look great shirts, to be fair. But yeah, I what was interesting as well, none of the recent shirts, and I think sometimes people think, oh well, if we're for a shite season, I can't like the shirt type thing. So that's maybe part of it as well.
Yeah, well, we'll go into the draw. Ross will give you the tops as he gets the draw, because we're making the draw right now on Falkirk Daft. Then we're going to get you to vote on this on our Twitter, okay? Ross is going to draw out each strip at a time. We'll put them up against each other. We'll put out Twitter polls throughout the week to find out who will go in to the last day. We're starting with 16, so all the matches across the week. And Ross, you're going to be like Rod Stewart right now. You're going to dip into your bowl. You're going to pick out the strips.
I am.
And let's go for it. I'll get you some. Oh, I'm in the studio, so I can get you some music for this. Right, you ready? Here we go.
Go on then. John, just to check, so you're wanting me, are we telling everybody the 16 just now, or we'll just do the draw?
We'll unveil the strips as they come out of the draw.
Right,
okay. You ready for your music now? Here we go.
I am indeed. Like it.
Right, there we go. You can make the draw now. Come on, do your best, Rod Stewart.
Here we go. I'll do my best, Rod Stewart. Hands in.
First strip out.
We have. So it's the 2016-2017 away shirt, which was the white away with the red and navy line down the centre.
There we go. And who will they be playing, Ross?
They will be playing. Oh, it's another white one. It's the white Spall Beezer Homes strip from 1990.
Right, okay, so the two white tops up against each other in the first match.
Indeed.
What's the next matchup going to be, Ross?
Right, we'll do it again. Okay, so it's a home shirt this time, and it's the 1981 Patrick home shirt.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, nice shirt.
Nice top. Badge in the middle of that one.
Yeah. Next.
That's the oldest top we've got. That's the oldest top in the draw, isn't it?
That is the oldest top we've got in the top 16, yep.
And who's it facing?
They are going to be playing, the yellow match winner, Beezer home shirt from 1994.
Oh, that's a tie. That's a tough one. Yeah,
that's
what a tie that is.
That's a tie.
I love how we're talking about it. What a tie that is. Amazing. Two strips up against each other. What a match that'll be. Right, okay.
The next one we have, it's the 1986 Spall Coasters pinstripe.
Oh, second oldest top in the draw.
Indeed.
I'm
And
trying to get facts out like I'm on the draw like we do.
they are playing the red and navy away strip from 1996-97. So that was the opposite to the checkerboard one.
Yes. I think there's only one winner there, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see how we go. Right. Next out is the 2007-2008 home lotto strip. You know, with the Highlander badge.
Oh, you love that strip. Absolutely love that strip. Lotto strip. Dean Holden. Great memories of him in it. He will be playing
the white Hummel Beezer Homes.
Oh, that's good. I can't believe that. The central demolition top has got no chance against the Beezer Homes on that one. No. So we'll wait and see. You never know. You never know.
Next one out is the home Hummel Beezer Home shirt this time.
Right,
so
yep.
With the red sleeves, the Confederate shirt.
Favourite to win the tournament.
Yep. And it's going to be playing the 1998 Lecoq Sportif home shirt. You know, the one with the red sleeves, the white under? Yep. That's a good
John R. We are sponsor on the front of that. There's only going to be one winner there, I think.
It's a good matchup. The next one out is it's the home version from 2016-2017, which is the one with the white and red on the front.
Yep, blue, white and red stripes down the middle. Yeah, Central Puma, Central Demolition.
Indeed. And that is up against the home gold 2015-2016 home shirt.
Oh, with the gold sponsor. That's going to be a tough match, that one, I think. That's most current tops in the draw.
Indeed. There we go. Okay, next one is 1999 home Zara, John R. Weir.
Home, right, okay. And that's going up against that. I like that top. I can see Andy Laurie in that top. I can see Mark Kerr in that top. Yeah,
that's right. John Henry as well.
Henry, yeah.
Yep, and that is up against the red away Lecoq Sportif, John R. Weir. So that's the 1998 red away shirt. So in our last two, which must mean, so we've got, this is going to be a tough one. It's the white third shirt from 1995.
Love that. I've still got that top, and it is my probably my favourite top, Falkirk top.
Paint splash one. And that is up against the white cup final shirt from 2015-2016.
Oh, that's a good draw. By the way, I'm taking umbrage as well, by the way. My favourite Falkirk top of all time is not in this draw with the blue patterns and stuff like that. That is a disgrace, Ross Wayne.
Which one? Oh, from 1994.
It's not even made this last. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
It didn't get enough votes, John. Listen, who do you think you are?
You get one of these. You're going to get one of these, Ross. Okay, you're getting one of these.
Listen, John. Unlike FIFA and Qatar, there's no been any backhanders here, son. Okay, so everything's above board.
So the draw has been made. We'll note that down. Look out on our Twitter, vote at Falkirk Daft, and then we'll be down to the last 8 next weekend, and we'll go again with the draw and see what is Falkirk Daft's ultimate Falkirk top. So look out for that on our Twitter and get voting this week.
This is Falkirk Daft.
So every week in Falkirk Daft, we like to look ahead to our next opponents, and it's Scottish Cup times where we journey across the country to places we've never been before. I think this must be the first time we've played Wick. Certainly in my lifetime, I think this is the first time.
I think there was a friendly back in 1995. I've got a signed programme from that kicking about somewhere in the house, but that's the only time.
That's the only game I can remember as well. Yeah, I think Mo Johnson might have played.
He was up,
Yeah. So, there we go.
That man you hear now is Neil McIntosh. He is in Wick as we speak to him. And not only is he a Wick Academy supporter, he's also a Falkirk supporter. So he's in a very unique position come this weekend. Neil, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Brilliant. Well, listen, I'll wait, hold up. My Highland League game is not brilliant, so I have no idea how good or how bad Wick are. I've looked at the table, so you're currently sitting in 10th, having won 5, drawn 1 and lost 8. And it's 3 defeats and 2 wins in the last 5. I've done my research here. Is that the game at the weekend there against Keith was called off, wasn't it? Because I know John McGunn was going, we've not had a really good chance to look at them because we're going to send scouts up. So, Neil, you can be our scout up there in Wick. What can we expect from Wick Academy this weekend?
It'll be an interesting game. It's a pitch like Falkirk have never played on before. I think there's a 9-foot difference between one end and the other end. So
is that really? Jesus.
Yeah. So that'll be a bit of a leveler.
It's an uphill struggle, that one, eh?
Yeah.
That is a 9-foot difference. That must be the biggest in Scotland. That I can't even think of any other pitch. You know, you've talked about Easter Road. I don't know what the gap is at Easter Road, but 9 foot is mental.
Like when you look at it, it's a pretty dramatic hill. You wouldn't expect it to be a pitch that a team in the Highland League would play on, but it just brings something interesting to the game. You can get a few different goals as well.
So I take it Wick on a normal week will try and shoot that way in the second half then?
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, down the hill.
But I mean, uphill can have its advantages as well. I think the wind's the biggest thing you've got to play, depending on what the weather's like.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, how exposed? I mean, I've never been up to Wick. How exposed is the stadium and the pitch, Neil?
It's pretty exposed because just to the left of it's just a big open park where all the summer league football and things happen. So if it's a windy day, you're getting the weather.
Yeah, and obviously the game was called off at the weekend due to the pitch being flooded. How was the pitch looking prior to the flooding?
Well, they've put a lot of work into the pitch over the pre-season. They put new drainage and things in. Usually we'd have around about at this time of year quite a few games off if there's a lot of rain, but we've been quite lucky this season that's been the only fixture that hasn't happened. So the Harmsworth hasn't been shut this season because of the pitch, because of the new drainage. So it should be okay for next weekend.
Tell us about Wick then. Who are the players that Falkirk need to be aware of?
Well, they've got a few young guys with a bit of pace. There's a young guy, Mark McCarry. He's a good player, and they had another player, Sean Campbell. He's actually my wife's nephew, and he scored in the previous 2 rounds of the Scottish Cup. But he did his ankle a couple of weeks ago, so he'll not be there. But they've just got some industrious midfielders and things as well. They'll definitely be up for the game. I think that's a big thing for them. Will be this team coming up, just to go out there and put a good show on.
My wife's nephew of that.
Neil, I had saw since obviously we've been playing, I've been keeping an eye on like social media and stuff like that. And another Bairns fan I was speaking to yesterday had said, "Did you see the tweet that Wick Academy had signed a couple of players? And it looks like these boys have been signed for Orkney. And one of the players, he's got a massive barnet on." And I've just got I don't know if you can see this in the camera here. It looks like Leo Sayer. Like, how's this guy going to play?
He's more like Valderrama from Colombia back in the day when he
played. Yeah. Toby McLeod. How have the new signings from Orkney settled in? Because that is a mental journey as well. So they presumably to come into training and stuff, they need to get the boat over to the mainland and then back and stuff on a Saturday. And that boat crossing is horrendous to Orkney.
Yeah, well, they've played a couple of games for Academy already. I don't know if it was on trialist basis or not, but I think there was one game down in Aberdeenshire way, and they actually flew from Orkney to Aberdeen and got their own way to the stadium because it was so much easier than getting the boat than the bus. Because every away game's a trek for Wick Academy.
No, of course.
God, I know. It's just. I mean, we were talking about it when the draw was made. You can't actually get a train from Falkirk that will get you in time for the game. The closest train you can get in gets you in at 6 o'clock at night. From that's leaving Falkirk at 10 in the morning. You're like, Jesus Christ. So I think a lot of supporters' buses heading up to the game at the weekend. I mean, you're obviously in the unique position, Neil, that you're a Falkirk supporter in Wick, and you obviously support Wick while you're up there. When did you start following Falkirk?
It was back in the 94-95 season towards the end. I think it was my 9th birthday? No, my 8th birthday. I was allowed to then start going to the football. So my first game was Falkirk Hibs that season. We won 1-0. And just the atmosphere at Brockville, I was hooked.
Good.
Yeah. And what took you up to Wick then?
Well, I'm a teacher, so I'd finished my probationary teaching year in Stirling, and I saw there was a post going in Wick, but I knew there was somebody in the same position as me. They were a probationer, so they were applying for the post as well. So I thought, I'll get 2 days off work going up here, I'll get to see a part of the world I've never been to, and I'll get a wee bit of interview experience.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting the job, but when they offered me it, I just thought, oh well, let's take it.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. So you've been following Falkirk as well as Wick this season then, Neil?
Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with it as much as possible. I've been down to a couple of games when we're down visiting. I've caught some games on Falkirk TV because Wick's practically not on the mainland, so we can...
You get VPN on it up there, all right, as well. But what do you think? I mean, who are the players that we need to... We've talked about the players that you need to look out for in Wick. What players do you think can do damage from a Falkirk perspective to Wick? What players do you think they'll struggle against?
Just like anyone with a bit of pace is going to cause Falkirk a bit of bother. Like Lawal's looking brilliant the last couple of games, especially last week. I think he'll cause a lot of bother. Wick kind of struggle with centre backs.
So do we.
Like they've got some good players, but there's a lot of injuries and things, and a bit of inexperience. They've got a young boy who'll be playing centre back who's only 17 or 18. So he's a good player, but just not got the experience. And But I think some of the trickier and the quicker players are going to cause us a bit of bother up front.
Right, so Morrison, we're looking at Morrison, Nesbitt, Lyle are the kind of three that might cause problems up there. What the most important question, however, Neil, is what pubs should we be going to in Wick when we get up there?
Well, there's a few. I think if you did them all, there's about 11 to get to.
Is there?
Yeah. But the closest one to the ground, I've seen people speaking about it on the Facebook groups already, is the Queen's Hotel.
Right.
I think there's been 3 supporters buses in touch with them, so that place will be absolutely bouncing. You get quite a lot of academy fans will pop in there beforehand. But I mean, all the pubs in Wick aren't that far away; they're all a walking distance from the stadium.
Brilliant.
Right.
So I think there's quite a lot of fans sort of making a weekend of it, obviously due to the travel. So you might find that if you're out and about for a pint on Friday night, I think there'll be a few Bairns fans out that night too.
But the main sort of place, we used to have Wetherspoons until about maybe 3 months ago, but that's been taken over. So down in the Market Square, there's a few pubs. You've got the Crown, Wetherspoons, Harper's. It'll be quite a busy day on Saturday as well. It's actually the Christmas lights switch on in Wick on Saturday.
Oh, is it?
There's a little community market going down with different stalls and things, and there'll be a wee umbrella parade with the kids and stuff. So there's a lot going on that weekend.
John, are you switching the lights on in Wick and as well as Glasgow this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be there switching the lights on in Wick. But no, listen. I mean, and I guess I'm asking for the younger single Falkirk supporters because I know a lot of the young team are heading up there this weekend. What's the talent like in Wick for them? Neil, can you not answer because you've got a girlfriend or wife nearby?
Well, that's why I'm still in Wick. I met a woman when I was up here, so
right.
I'm up here and married, so I'd have to say the talent's good.
Right, you've got to say that. She's in within your shot, absolutely.
We've got a lovely big sticky floor nightclub as well, so
if they're staying up. The Manicky on tour, is it?
The Manicky of Wick is happening on this Saturday for the young team. Neil, what do you think the score's going to be?
Well, to try and appease all my Wick supporting friends and family, I've been saying I hope Wick score first, but I fancy a Falkirk 4 or 5-1.
Right.
I would absolutely love that.
You're in the lovely position that you're going to be happy no matter what happens on Saturday. But who do you secretly want to win? Do you want Wick or Falkirk? Go on.
Oh no, genuinely Falkirk. I've told people that.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Brilliant. Will you come back on next week to review the game, Neil?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Brilliant. Bill, listen, thank you so much for that. There you go, our Bairn in Wick. Neil, look out for him at the game on Saturday and buy him a pint.
Excellent, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Neil.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
This is Falkirk Daft.
There we go.
Brilliant. So what you want to do? You want to do 2 a day then? So we'll do 2. So rather than, I was thinking we were putting 4 together, but we're doing 2. So it'll be 2. That's going to take longer than. So see if we do today and then each day next week, it means we could do the draw for the next round next month.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Okay.
Right, so I'll put the first. Well, I know that means the first fixture's going out before the podcast, but it is what it is.
It's fine. Right, okay, we'll put a bow on this one.
Yep.
Right. That is it for this week's Falkirk Daft 3-3 against Clyde, and on to the Scottish Cup now, Ross. You were at Clyde obviously yesterday. You were hoi polloi in it with the prawn sandwich brigade, I believe.
There wasn't any prawn sandwiches. We're okay. But yes, it was. Listen, I know I said this on Twitter last night. It's a good setup at Hamilton. Obviously, it's not a finished stadium, a bit like ours, but they've got decent. It's a decent setup there, and Clyde seemed to be enjoying it. It was great to see there was a fan zone inside the stand yesterday.
Oh wow!
So do you know, it was brilliant, and I'd love Falkirk to have something like this. It's probably what the South Stand Bar, the Ken McAllister Stand Bar might become, but it was essentially a one size fits all. Do you know, it looked brilliant. They obviously had the bar open for everybody that's wanting a pint. They had a kids area, which had like arcade games and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
They had like a wee pop-up shop for punters to buy Clyde merchandise, obviously, but there was a ton of Burns fans in there. There looked like there was at least a bus full. I think it might have been the Roman Bar Boys. They were all in there, and it was brilliant. So fair play to Clyde for that type of setup. And it was really, really busy. Considering there wasn't like thousands at the game, it was really, really busy.
Good. I know it's something, anything you can learn from these sorts of things. But I believe when you were heading up to your very posh seat, there was a couple of young lads started chanting at you, Ross.
I got a lot of, so, and it was a nice, I got shouted out, there's the podcast guy, so.
But they start chanting your podcast, boy, is that what I've heard from my sources?
So, no, which is nice. It was, it's great to see folk listening to the podcast, because you and I thought, no one will, like, our mums and dads and pals will maybe listen.
My partner doesn't even listen to this. Doesn't be silly. It's just like, I want to hear you talking shite about Falkirk for an hour and a half. I can do that. I hear enough of that at home when you come in on a Saturday and moaning. I don't even care then. So brilliant. Thanks for listening, because we didn't think anyone would listen to this. So we're getting thousands of listens and views every week. So continue to do that on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You see us on YouTube as well. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, links below. Do all that. If you want to join our Discord chat, links are also there. If you want to get stuff off your chest on a weekly basis about Falkirk. And remember, if you want to sponsor the show, we'd love to hear from you as well. falkirkdaftpod@gmail.com. Please sponsor us, because it would really help us. And remember, Falkirk Daft merchandise now available. The links are below now. As well. Buy your loved ones some Falkirk Daft merchandise for Christmas. Wear it loud, wear it proud, round the stadium. shop.spreadshirt.co.uk. /Falkirk-Daft, and you'll get the links, and you'll see an array of fantastic merchandise you can buy your loved ones for Christmas. Do you know what, Ross? We should leave on a song today. Since I'm in the studio, we should leave on a song. What do you think? Because I've got access to every song pretty much in the world here in the Clyde One database. Right. So what do you think we should leave off with in reflection of yesterday's game?
Oh, that's a good shout, John. As in terms of how we're feeling about it, or in terms of trying to be
whatever you want, whatever you can choose. Your choice of song.
Oh, right.
Finish off the song, and we'll go out on a song this week.
Okay.
What about this, Ross? No. We didn't take any of it. The winner takes it all. No, we didn't.
Not sure about that one.
Hola, 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 hola. No.
What was it the young team were singing about? What were they singing?
Well, we've had a few people on our Facebook suggestion and our Twitter suggesting that we're not going for Ola, Ola, which I think would be quite Ola, Ola, Ola. No, we're not going for that. But there has been a few bands that have written a song based on the Copacabana. So should we go out on the Copacabana? Have you got the words there in front of you?
I think we should, John, because Sammy Dow, who is since 1876 on Twitter, after last week's man of the match performance against Edinburgh. Danny Burns, who's one of our listeners on Twitter as well, he said we need a song for Ola to the tune of Copacabana. And
Sammy, it just so happens to have that here. There we go.
Perfect. And Sammy had some amazing lyrics around with dreadlocks in his hair and his legs from here to there. So I think we should go with Copacabana.
Right, okay, here we go. Bit of Barry to finish the podcast.
Her name was Ola. She was a showgirl.
Can't believe you're not singing it.
There's no way I'm singing it. But yes,
we'll pop the lyrics up on our Twitter so you can sing along to this song to Ola Wow.
We'll definitely do that. But yeah, with dreadlocks in his hair and his legs from here to there, he would step over and do the shuffle. When he tried to take the ball, he laughed, "Is that your fucking all?"
What a tune this is, by the way. Let's just go out on this. Thank you very much for listening to Falkirk Daft this week. It's been a bit different for this week, but a lot of laugh. And as usual, Ross, what do we say?
Expect the unexpected, Billy.
At the Copa!
They fell in love.
This is Falkirk Daft.